how to prepare a C13 NMR spectra. First you start out with your preloaded sample that has the solvent and your product in it. You place it into the spinner, not this long part facing down. It should just slide in gently. Shouldn't have to force it. Place it about halfway.
And then next you will place the spinner with your NMR sample inside this tube here, which is pre-measured. You want to press the tube down so that it reaches this bottom here, because you want it at the correct length for when it goes inside the NMR spectrometer.
Then, your sample is at the correct height, and you don't want to move it from this spot, so you should just place it into the open spot in the spectrometer right away. And you can kind of tell because there will be air pushing out of it, and so you want to place it into the open one, which in this case is number 4, and it should just rest lightly on the air. Then you can come over to the computer.
Okay, next we have most of this set up all ready for you. Your professor will have this pulled up for you, but right now you need to pull up another thing. You want to click on Experiment. And because we're doing C13 NMR, you're going to have to go down to the bottom and look for the single pulse decoupled. You click on that and it's going to pull up here with your file name, which you can name to whatever you want. Most of the time it's group members, but for now we will just do carbon. Next you're going to come over to this controller panel we have here. Make sure your solvent is the chloroform D, or if you do happen to be using a different solvent for that day, you want to choose the correct solvent. But today we are using chloroform D, which is mostly used for the C13 NMR. You want to click on the load, because you want to load your sample, which is going to lower your NMR sample down into the spectrometer. And then you're going to do a shim and lock, which it says it's already doing, so we're going to acknowledge that.
This window right here will tell you that there's something going on, and when this is blank, then you know that the shim and lock is over with, and it will usually take a couple minutes.
And these two boxes will also turn green.
You know your sample is done shimming and locking when this panel is blank. That means nothing else is going on, and this lock is on and it is idle. Now the next thing to do is rename it if you haven't already renamed it, but we did. Then you hit submit and go. Then this dialog box thing will have more stuff in it, and you can just simply wait until your sample is done. It usually takes I don't know, kind of a long time for C13 NMR.
So you can choose to view your spectrum being made. If you come down here, you click on the View button. You also want to hit View again up here, and it'll load, and you can see your spectrum slowly being made. Obviously right now it is not very easy to read at the moment, but as the longer you wait, the more narrowed down it gets and more readable it will be.
When your sample is finished, this dialog box will be blank and it will say upload complete, and then it'll have where it's saved to. Then the next step is to eject your sample. Pick out your sample and you are now done. Then you can go to where your file is saved and print it out, and you can get the very interesting molecular formula. I'm sure this is in it.
I'm not camera shy.